Welcome back guys to another video. In this video, I want to go over how I was able to bill over $5 million as a recruiter in my career so far on my own desk. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Recruiter Preston. I actually started as a recruiter in 2014. I joined an award-winning recruitment firm with a nationwide presence. I basically started from the bottom, became one of the top producers out of 300 recruiters nationwide, $500,000. I surpassed over $100,000 a month in my first year. And basically the next year, I decided to bet on myself, become a solo recruiter, really start my own entrepreneurial career, and somehow was able to do the same thing. Did about $524,000 in revenue on my own desk as a solo recruiter with awesome profit margins, and then continue to make that minimum every single year for the next 10 years. Now we're scaling a profitable agency. We work with and engage with some of the best brands out there. So if you are looking to hire a team, you're looking to level up as a recruiter, you're looking to find another job, this is the place for you. Welcome. So tip number one, I was absolutely somehow obsessed always with client acquisition. So in a recruitment business, whether it's staffing or perm, direct placement, it's really simple. It's either get clients and get candidates and put it together. And somehow in my early years when I was starting out, I basically remembered thinking to myself, wow, if I can somehow always keep client acquisition going, I will never be broke. I will never be poor. And my business will never ever be at a standstill. So because of that, I essentially became obsessed with client acquisition from day one, and that it became literally one of the main pillars that me and my agency, we still take very seriously today. So if you cannot bring and engage cold clients into your business, you don't have a business and you never will. That is the harsh reality in 2025 moving forward. Even if my desk was at capacity, I never turned it off. I always kept my outreach on. When it comes to client acquisition, one of the things that you have to really think about is kind of like going on a beach with like a metal detector. You're really looking for not just those silver or fake metal rings, right? You're looking for those pure diamond bracelets, diamond necklaces, diamond rings. And in a sense of like just a metaphor or analogy, that's what client acquisition is. You always want to kind of keep that going to really attract not any client, the best client. And when I see the best, these are the folks that are just absolute joy to work with. They respond, they give you feedback, they move fast, they have short interview presence. Like the worst thing is just being stuck with one client and not being able to get additional clients. Make sure really like that activity, the interview processing just remains consistent on my desk every day. Are you struggling with getting responses from clients? Are you an established recruiter who is struggling to break six figures and beyond? Are you looking to start recruiting part-time and you don't know how? Do you feel burned out and stuck spending hours and hours each day in manual tasks like sourcing and outreaching and feeling like you have no time to actually run and grow your business? I am absolutely happy to announce that we have launched our own recruitment, educational, and coaching program to help you on your journey. We made sure that everything I've learned in the past 10 years, the tips, the strategies that really helped me build multiple seven figures of placements on my own desk with some of the best companies in the world will be included in there. We'll also be including things like how you can build an acquisition system that brings in clients every month to your agency hands-free, how you can maximize the probability of a positive close during negotiations, how you can automate and outsource your day-to-day operations so that you don't have to spend hours per day researching or sourcing, how you can figure out the new and modern way to scale your agency that minimizes risk and maximizes your upside potential. And we've also included much more. The best thing about this is not only will you be getting amazing content, but we will also handhold you and be with you every step of the way to make sure that you are held accountable and you crush your goals. We'll also share with you our own tech stack, tools and plugins we actually use, plus everything else we know about automation and AI to help you save time, work smarter, and not be a slave to your business. The exciting news is that we've actually rolled this out to a select few people earlier this year, and I'm excited to see them well on the way to multiple six figures, with some breaking $30,000 to $50,000 per month already. So if you're interested to be a successful recruiter that can dominate in any market conditions, make sure you click on the link below to chat with another member of our team, and we're happy to chat with you to see if we can help you out. Make sure you jump on this really quickly. See you on the other side. And if that client ends up being a horrible or slow client, your recruitment business, your freelance career, your side hustle just becomes completely painful and you just feel like you're just stuck, right? So by allowing and adopting this mindset, this really essentially allowed me to make placements, make sure really like that activity, the interview processing just remains consistent on my desk every day, every week, and every month and every year. Whatever placements you do today, I realized again that it is basically a result of all the work that I've done 2 to 3 weeks ago, right? So I'm like, wow, if I can just like keep bringing clients, keep doing interviews, keep doing placements, and I'm consistent every single year, then not naturally, if I do everything correctly, the placements that I make should happen consistently throughout the year. I wasn't interested in just doing like a placement 1 month and then doing nothing for 10 months. I want to do a placement every single month, and I want to do 2 placements every single month. And if you want to do that or more, you have to be consistent and you cannot stop your client acquisition. I was always seeking the best clients to work with, and I think when you go through client acquisition, you go through different phases, right? The first phase is fear, desperation, I need 1 client. And then the second is like, oh my God, I can actually attract multiple clients. And then the third phase, which you always want to aspire to, is, oh my God, I can actually like attract, and I can have the power in my court to actually turn clients down and only work with clients I want to work with, right? But by doing that, my business never stopped for over 10 years, and I was always able to bring in clients, which allowed me to always do consistent placements month in, month out, and consistently every single year, regardless of what's happening around the rest of the country, the world, economic-wise. We just kept crushing and doing placements. The second tip was I never really relied on the unicorn candidate. Do unicorns exist? This mystical creature, this perfect candidate that has everything? They possibly could, but there's no guarantee that the candidates will actually be open to new jobs. There is no guarantee that they'll actually even like your job if you are able to get in touch with one, or let alone communicate. And there's also no guarantee that they'll even respond to you, right? So I think the biggest mistake I see a lot of newbie recruiters do when it comes to, or just inexperienced recruiters do, is they just kind of like find one candidate, they submit it, and they kick back and relax thinking they do the job. No, that's more like a lottery. You're leaving a lot of things to chance, and it's just adding a lot of pressure on you and the candidate to just be perfect. Most of the placements I've done in my entire career weren't from my first candidate or my first submittal. They could be usually maybe like the second, third, or fourth, or fifth, right? And so with me, I didn't like the feeling just putting everything on one candidate, relying everything, my whole future, my whole income potential on just one candidate. To me, that felt way too risky. And so I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to also have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D and a plan E all the way to Z. So regardless if something happened to my plan A, there would always be a plan B, and I can always sleep at night. And if you guys have been doing recruiting for a long time, if you find someone, especially if they're a unicorn, they could also be a unicorn for any other company. So if you do actually end up getting them, the chance of closing is competitive because everyone's going after them. And so even if you get an amazing unicorn to a final round, they're going to have tons of bidding wars, tons of counter offers. The chances of closing become so stressful. How about you go after the folks that like not a lot of people are going after, they're just as good or even better, and they're not interviewing anywhere else. And so if you're able to really manage that process well with the candidates and they end up receiving an offer and they feel good, the chance of you closing and making money is much, much higher. So don't leave anything by chance, and don't just be a resume vendor, guys, right? So we're here to find people, but we're also here not to find the obvious people, right? Like if all you do is like, hey, I can find the best unicorns, why are companies actually paying you for help? Most times when companies reach out to agencies, it's because these roles are really hard to fill and they need help. And if all you bring to the table is I can just bring and find a unicorn, they can also find that unicorn too. But where that real good recruiter comes in is like, hey, I can be more nuanced. I can find people who are maybe a little bit more low key who are just as good, or I can also build a pipeline of really good candidates so that, hey, even if the first guy doesn't make it, you can still have a good shot filling this role because I'm getting you 2, 3, 4, 5 additional options. The third tip I want to share with you is I'm extremely hands-on with submission, interview, and offer processes. There are so many things that you can do to truly impact the probability of a candidate accepting an offer. We are not, again, a resume vendor, meaning we are not just people that just basically finds a person, sends a resume, and really does nothing. The bare minimum recruiters can do that. But where you start to shine, where recruiters start to get provide more value to the relationship with hiring managers and clients, is there's also a lot of work that we can do. Because look, it's just on one hand, yes, the job is to find the candidate, but on the other hand, the real job is to actually manage that candidate and then to close them, to hire them. That's how you get paid. That's how your hiring managers and clients actually get happy, right? We're not in the job of just submitting people and then losing them at the offer round. Like, we want to do whatever we can to maximize the chance, the probability in our favor. And whether it's submissions, interviews, offer processes, there's so many things we can actually do. And if you don't know, you just don't know. An offer is great, but like I said here, many inexperienced recruiters literally do nothing pre or post offer that can drastically change the outcome. Building trust with candidates throughout the process. Are you doing that, right? We are hands-on, checking in with our candidates every single interview. We are developing and cultivating that relationship. We are uncovering obstacles. We are seeing how they're feeling feeling, do a temperature pulse check on them. We're trying to also understand how are their other interview processes going. Is there anything that can really prevent us from actually accomplishing our goal, which is the offer, getting an offer accepted into the future? Are you really becoming a confidant, providing a 5-star concierge service to your candidates? Like, we literally do this like clockwork. So when my agency picks up roles and we submit people, we manage and work very closely with the candidate to do whatever we can to get that probability leaning towards us. Are you also controlling or accelerating interviews, feedback, and number of stages? When we pick up roles, we don't just want to pick up roles for the sake of picking up roles. We want to basically, do what we can to maximize the chance of success. And one of that is condensing, accelerating interview stages. Nobody wants to go through a 10-stage interview round. No candidate, no recruiter, no one. That literally just takes forever. And if you are being hired by a company, chances are they're also probably using other recruiter agencies. They have an internal team. It's very competitive. It's very easy to go out there and get good candidates, but if you can't get them through the interview process because it takes forever, or you're asking way too much of the candidate, they keep just withdrawing and pulling out, something is wrong, right? So there's so much that you can do there to keep it short, to keep the feedbacks running quickly and getting back to you fast. And there's so much also communications that you can do with the candidates and with the clients so that everything happens like clockwork and much, much faster. So like, for example, when me and my agency, when we pick up roles, if someone's like, hey, our interview stage is 5 rounds with like 3 at-home assignments in between, spanning across a month and a half, I'd be like, whoa, hold on a second. You should not do that. Other companies are doing X, Y, and Z. And for that reason, to be competitive, if we find you a good candidate, how about we shorten it to maybe 2 or 3 rounds, maybe 3 to 4 rounds max. And instead of 3 at-home take-home assignments, how about let's just do 1 and make one of the stages a super round where they can meet a lot of different people and they can also do more of a whiteboarding session at the same time, making it more efficient and not demanding of the candidate's time outside of the interviews where it's already stressful enough for them, right? Are you also building the trust with hiring managers? That can be super useful during offers. You don't just want to have a really good trust established with the candidates. You also want to do the same thing with clients as well. Like, you want to be able to create a really good relationship where it's reciprocal, you both communicate and trust each other, and they're really leaning on you to be that expert, to really be able to be like, hey, here's some critical information about the candidates that you need to know so that if you want to close them, we can close them. Or hey, this is an obstacle, this is a red flag, this is something that we're noticing about your interviews that you and your team are doing. Like, we are not only on the candidate side, we are also on the side of the clients. This is a reason why being a recruiter is so cool, because you develop so many awesome relationships, not just with some of the best talent in the world, but also with the best executives and managers and TA teams and founders in the world. You become a trusted confidant and you can't be biased in a way where it just offends the other side. We have the luxury to be like the middle party here between two very, very important parties. And it's very important to be as objective as possible and making sure we all achieve the collective goal. Are you also doing creative solutions to close offers? Like, the candidate really wanted like 120 and the salary was 100. There's a lot of things that you can also play with. If the salary is capped out, bonuses, sign-on bonuses, relocation bonuses, equity, like front end, back end, maybe bonus based on milestones or something that's more frequent compared to the typical 12-month cadence schedule, right? There's so many things you can think outside the box. I mean, what about even offering maybe a $2,000 or a $5,000 bonus from your agency to the candidates upon accepting to sweeten the deal, right? Like, the list goes on and on and on and on. And this is so many cards at our disposal that we can play with to do whatever we can to get it closed. If you put in all that work and you found an amazing candidate and it's all the way to the offer round, you want to damn well sure do whatever you can to get that position closed, right? And if we're only talking about 5 or 10K off and losing the deal, I'd get so angry about that, because in the scheme of things, that's not a lot of money. And so we do whatever we can. We go above and beyond to get it closed, and you should be able to think about that too. My last tip that I want to share with you that really helped me make just the income that I did is avoiding not picking up jobs correctly, right? A lot of inexperienced recruiters, when they pick up new jobs with clients, they're just so happy because they're so desperate for clients that as soon as like the first one comes in the door, they're like, yes, 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 I accept everything. If you do not accept jobs correctly, you are actually going to set yourself up for a lot more difficulty or failure down the line, downstream, everything else that you end up doing. The focus here really needs to be to able to pick up jobs correctly. And this is why it's so important to know your market, to know the roles that you're going after. Instead of going after a million different roles at the same time, how the heck are you going to actually get to dig deep and really understand them well? So too many inexperienced recruiters, they accept jobs at face value, or they just start searches strictly off the job descriptions, and you are completely unaware that you are already setting yourself up for failure. So number one, we always do whatever we can to have the discussion with the hiring manager or the decision maker. But number two, we come to that call with an attitude that we are an equal strategic partner, right? And we are specialized in these roles, and we can talk confidently about trends, insights, and salary ranges at the bare minimum. So if someone was looking for, let's say, a software engineer with 5 to 7 years of experience in New York City, and they were only willing to pay them the 120, I'd be like, hey, there is a chance we might be able to find someone, but based on our previous searches, based on our database, and based on also just our knowledge and expertise in this space, you need to be able to actually more have like a budget closer to 160, 170 to 200 plus to be able to really cast the net out wide enough to get a really good pipeline going, right? And if you can't do that, what else can we do? Bonus, equity, like reload, work from home, remote. Or if you can't do anything like that, are you open to talking to more junior people? Because you're just not going to find anyone with that salary. Because even if you do, they're going to be getting offers that are going to be offering them 20, 30, 40, 50K more at comparable companies, right? So if you just don't have that understanding and you don't understand that that's what you're supposed to be doing at these calls and you just accept that role, your job is going to be so ridiculously horrible and difficult trying to find really good software engineers, the best of the best who's willing to take 120, which is just not going to happen, right? And if it is, are they willing to wait a ridiculous amount of time to get this position filled? Probably not, because they want this engineer yesterday, right? So by you also just like talking to the company and the hiring manager, you also be able to like really understand what the hiring managers want and understand nuance. So if you strictly go off of a job description and it says, I want a software engineer with 5 years of experience with Python, but you send all the people that have everything perfect and the hiring manager denies all of them, you'd have no idea why they're being denied. Versus if you actually talk to the hiring manager and you really dig deep, you would actually understand, oh yeah, we only like people from Harvard or MIT. Oh yeah, we actually only prefer people from startup experience, seed, series A, coming out of the fintech or AI space. Anyone else we will strictly ignore, right? Like you can't really decipher that from just the job description. You're just gonna be like, hey, I'm doing my jobs perfectly. Something's wrong with the hiring manager or the company. No, like most of the time you have to understand job descriptions are created by ChatGPT or tired or inexperienced or uneducated HR managers that don't really know what the hiring manager wants, and it's just their jobs to put out an ad to build that funnel. Like it's very important to really understand the nuance here so that if you're gonna pick up this role and do it, you can actually find candidates that they actually want, right? Basic criteria like salary is not aligned with market we talked about, and again, not asking deep enough questions to truly understand the role. If you don't know what the hiring manager really wants, how are you gonna go out there and actually find the people that they actually want, right? It's a common sense. It is a no-brainer type of situation. So if you go out there, and I get it, especially if you're building your business and you have no clients and you're like, hey Preston, this is the first time I actually have a client, I want to say yes to everything, I get it. But we're not in the business to just say yes and pick up roles and not being able to fill it. You need to fill it, you need to do placements, you need to make money. And to make money, you got to do everything correctly, okay? The first conversation with the client, if done correctly, can literally 10x your success or failure. There is no point in getting new clients or jobs if you can't do really any placements. So guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you notice one more thing. Every 4 points really talks about the fundamentals of recruiting. Notice how I didn't talk anything about or just obsessing over automations and technology and all of that. There is a time and place for technology, but if you don't have strong fundamentals, if you don't know, for example, how to pick up jobs correctly, if you don't know how to manage the relationships with clients and candidates pre or post offer, if you don't know how to really develop that trust, it doesn't matter what lead gen service, automation, AI you're using, because they will help you make you a better recruiter, assuming you already have a strong foundation. If you don't have a strong foundation, AI and treating technology as a silver bullet, it can help you get so far, but you're not going to be able to really go as far as fast as you would be if you understood exactly how to be actually a good recruiter. And lastly, the fundamentals are important. If you're like, hey Preston, I'm watching this, I've already been in the game for 10, 20 years or 5 years or 3 years, I'm like, great. But also, respectfully, also how much are you billing, right? Because we talk to people who are billing millions of dollars who are struggling right now. We were talking to people who are billing 200K last year, but then they've only done 20K this year. We have people who can't even bill 20, 30, 50K a year right now, despite working and having multiple decades. And why are people with 1 month or 6 months experience outbilling them? Because the fundamentals are leveled up to 2025. I believe that if all you had was fundamentals, strong fundamentals, and a master at that without the tech, you can absolutely still make money. But there's no point in spending all this money money for lead gen or all this stuff to send you leads if you don't even know then how to fulfill candidates properly, how to actually pick up and talk to the clients and really build trust. So with recruitment in this line of business, it's so easy just to go from zero to automation, zero to hiring team and relying on them as a silver bullet. In this business specifically, because it is more of a sales oriented business, you cannot really lead or manage if you haven't done it yourself. So if you're not really billing multiple high levels of income or 6 figures minimum, you can't teach someone to do that. And if you're basically jumping straight to tech and automation, my only thought is, hey, that's fine, but it's kind of like driving in a self-driving car without actually learning how to drive the car. If the car breaks down, if it makes a mistake, if it's supposed to take right or left and you don't even know how to control it, you're just gonna get yourself hurt or waste time or waste money, or you're just not gonna go anywhere, right? So my biggest recommendation is you gotta have strong fundamentals as a recruiter. If you wanna do this properly and do it long term, you combine that with automation, with technology, and now you are absolutely unstoppable. If you have a strong foundation, now let's work together and build that house. The walls, the appliances, the electricity, the plumbing, all that is technology, so you can really build a stable house that's not gonna go anywhere. So guys, I hope you liked this video. Hope you're crushing in 2025. We'll see you on the next one.